Good evening, fellow Zimbabweans. It's that time again. Now, the Brett Holley. There comes a time when one has to stand up and speak the truth, no matter what others may think. Here at Brett Holley, that time is every day, and that's what we do. Everyone in Zimbabwe has the highest respect for liberation war heroes. It took a lot of courage, selflessness, and bravery. They left home, left their families, perhaps some of them were still at school, work, walked for days and days through dangerous bush to arrive at a camp basically out of the country, full of strangers, in the hope of receiving training so that they can go back and fight for equal rights. Those were definitely not easy times. However, there is a fine line between getting some compensation and outright looting of our country's resources. In 1980, there were 32,000 war veterans registered. Today, there are over 50,000 war veterans. How they multiplied, I have no idea. But that fact alone should show us that already there is a problem somewhere. This week, our president met with these war veterans, and bloody hell, we have now learnt what our liberators really think of us. Besides the usual bootlicking and singing, the war vets demanded the following: hearing aids for all, war veterans to be flown to overseas doctors for specialist treatment, a 20% quota of all presidential scholarships, doubling of their monthly pensions, land from local authorities must be given to them free of charge. They are losing their houses and want government to help them pay back their loans. They want 20% of all the farming land that has been acquired by government. They want to be exempted totally from paying any land tax in the whole country. They want to have preferential treatment when it comes to appointments to posts such as ambassadors, CEOs, commissioners, and other very senior government positions. They want 10% of every single mining concession in Zimbabwe. They want 20% in each and every indigenized firm or company within Zimbabwe. They want the party commissar to be a war veteran. They want elected party members who didn't go to war to go through what they are calling an ideological orientation program in order for them to effectively serve the people. And lastly, and probably the most worrying, they also agreed and pushed that politics and the gun should coexist, quoting Mugabe's statement during the Liberation War that the gun is the guarantor of the vote. I am in absolute shock at these demands. Who do they think they are? If you told us this and what they wanted at the time and how they were going to loot this country, maybe we would have told them to let the regime continue until we found real freedom fighters who would fight for the love of their country and not for benefits. They are not freedom fighters. They are basically mercenaries. A person who has fought a war in exchange for monetary reward afterwards. They are not even 0.5% of the population, and yet they are demanding 20% of everything. Let's not forget that in 1997 they were paid out massive amounts of money. They all benefited and looted the War Veterans Compensation Fund. Some of them spent that money buying cabbages for their cattle. Iowa guys, enough is really enough. This has gone beyond what a reasonable person can bear. This is now theft of national resources and abuse of public office. And to say that the gun must accompany politics, what exactly are they trying to say? Are they trying to intimidate us into accepting their demands? That won't work. Most of them can't even run 100 meters, never mind lift up a gun and actually shoot straight. If they give us a choice between violence and accepting their demands, let them not be surprised when we say we choose violence. You have shown us your true colors once and for all. And to think, as activists, we were very much prepared to accept and honor your current benefits no matter who took over in government. Even if there was a change of government, we would have stood up for war veterans' benefits. Well, that is now truly under review by the people of Zimbabwe. We cannot and will never be free when we have a small minority who think the country owes them and their future generations a living. In other countries, freedom fighters were incorporated into the army, into the police. Some were put into government. And it was then up to them to make a life and carry on. Nowhere in the world do you hear of such demands made 36 years after the actual war was fought. You are opportunists. They are fake war veterans, mercenaries who smell the end of the junta and want to have one final looting spree. The country is struggling. Government has no money. The junta has looted everything. Instead of discussing economic turnaround, they spent the entire afternoon telling us what they want from us. Truly pathetic. To all those war veterans in that meeting, you have lost my respect. You have lost Fidza's respect. And I'm sure millions of other Zimbabweans feel the same way. We don't have freedom fighters in Zimbabwe anymore. We now just have money-hungry mercenaries. And that brings us an end to another episode of Brett Vet. If you like what I say, you agree with what I'm saying, I have a Facebook page called Brett Vet, and we also have a YouTube channel also called Brett Vet. Thank you very much.